Are you someone that's been wanting to train hybrid, but you're not really sure how to build your program? I mean, between power, strength, speed, endurance, running, lifting, that's a lot to program in. My name's Brian, and I'm a lifter that started training hybrid less than 6 months ago. And when I first started, I was in the same boat. In my last video, I talked about all the different components of hybrid training and how to get better at them. And if you haven't watched that, then go ahead and watch that now because we're going to get into that. And don't forget to like that video and like, comment, and subscribe on this video as well. So, how do we start a program? Well, first, we have to take a look at what your goals are. See, the main objective when you build a program is to improve your goals. So before we can really build a program, we do need to set some goals. So for me, for example, my goals right now are to run a sub 8-minute mile, to run a sub 12-minute mile and a half, and turn a sub 30 5K. I'm also doing this while in a cut and wanting to maintain as much muscle as possible and get down to 12 or 13% body fat. And I specifically made my program work with my schedule to fit those goals. And another important part to building your program is to look at your schedule. See, we need to make sure we're consistent with it because consistency and showing up every day is what's going to get you to your goals. I say all the time that showing up and doing an okay workout is better than not doing any workout at all. And to do this, we need to make sure that this program is something that we can do day in and day out with minimal interruptions. So my program is all tailored towards what times I go to work and if I have things to do before I go to work. My schedule is pretty atypical, so usually I don't go to work until 2 or 3, but I'm also there until 9:30 or 10. However, I do have a few days where I have to be in a little bit earlier, like at 12 or 1. And so because of this, I schedule quicker workouts or shorter workouts on those days while keeping my longer workouts on the days I don't have to be in until later. And I specifically made my program to fit my schedule and to achieve my goals. So, what does my program look like? Well, my program is 6 days per week, and this allows me to have a rest day on Sundays where I completely shut down and don't do anything more than light mobility and walking. And because my main 3 goals are all running times, right now 3 of my 6 days per week are dedicated solely to running, with an optional 4th run that I do on a day that I lift. So, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays are my sole running days. On Wednesdays, I do a tempo or a recovery run depending on how I'm feeling. Friday, I always do a tempo run, and Saturday, I do a long run, with an optional recovery run on Monday if I'm feeling up for it. And this program has allowed me to improve pretty significantly. Back in January, when I ran my first mile and a half, which I did use the run walk method because I wasn't even in good enough shape to run a mile and a half yet, I finished in 18 minutes and 36 seconds. And compare that to my benchmark times, which I did just a few weeks ago, and my mile and a half time is now 14:33. So you can see I've had some pretty decent progress in my run times, and it's still something I'm working on and really pushing for those goals on. So those are my running days and my current run times, but what about the lifting? How does my program try to maintain as much muscle as possible while also losing significant body fat? On Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays are days that I'm just in the gym. Those days are days I'm not focused on running, I am only focused on lifting. And on Mondays, I hit legs. Tuesdays is a pull day, and Thursday is a push day. And for my leg days, I tend to do a lot of squats, a lot of leg presses, a lot of hamstring curls, and some Bulgarian split squats. And if you look at the rep range on here and you refer back to my previous video about this rep range, you can tell that I'm training for hypertrophy. So why am I training for hypertrophy? Well, because I'm trying to maintain as much muscle as possible while also eating in a caloric deficit. I'm really trying to push and grow the muscle size to offset the muscle that I lose from the cut. An example, my pull day would be starting off with some dumbbell rows, moving on to lat pull downs, getting some cable bicep curls in. And then my 4th exercise has changed a little bit. I've done both low machine rows, I've used the row machine, I've done cable rows. Right now I'm on T-bell rows. I like to keep my last workout a row. And then an example for a push day is going to be starting with incline dumbbell bench. And the reason that I do dumbbell bench is so I can go to failure without needing a spotter. And incline just because it feels great for me. Next, I'll go do some overhead press. That's something I just added, and I'm really loving that movement right now. Then usually some tricep work. This can be tricep extensions, tricep cable pushdowns, tricep dumbbell extensions. Lately, I've been using the tricep extension machine just because I like the way it's been feeling lately. But before, I was doing a lot of cable work for triceps. Then I'll go over to the chest press, pump out 3 sets of 6 to 8 on chest press before my finisher, which is always chest flies on the chest fly machine. Usually after my lift, I'll do some core or some mobility work depending on the day. Try to hit at least 9 sets of core per week and also try to stretch every day. So really just depends what the day looks like, but make sure to at least get one of those. And usually right before I leave the gym, I'll get about 10 to 15 minutes at a 3 to 3.5 speed walk on the treadmill just to get some steps in. And this program, leaning more towards hypertrophy, has allowed me to go from 192 pounds, around 24% body fat, to my current 175, sitting around 16% body fat. So that's how I built my program. How can you build yours? Well, the first step is going to be to set some goals. Once we have some goals set, we can tailor our program around those goals so we can go and achieve those goals. Next, take a look at your schedule and see what you can commit to and what you'll be able to do every single day for the next number of weeks. Third, we're going to be smart about it. See, I used to push as much volume as possible in the gym. I would go and make sure that I'm hitting 12 to 15 sets per muscle per week. And I wasn't really having a ton of growth there. Once I brought the volume down a little bit, is when I really started to see more growth in the gym. So make sure the volume isn't something that's too high for you. And this is going to be an individual thing. Everybody will be different. But typically, if you're not trained, you're going to be able to get away with doing less sets. And if you're more trained, you're going to need to do more sets. And after that, you're going to pick some workouts that just feel nice to you. You want to make sure you enjoy your time in the gym or out running, so you're more likely to come back to it. So, for example, let's say that your goal is all about muscular endurance. Well, you want to make sure you're getting a lot of work in the gym. You're going to be doing a lot of sets per week at lower weights with higher rep ranges in the 15 to 20 rep range. Or let's say you're in a strength building phase. You're going to want to tailor your program to both strength training and hypertrophy. So aim for like a 60-40 split, leaning towards strength training, but also growing muscle mass so that you can lift heavier. And the last important thing is you want to make sure you have as much recovery as your body needs. See, inside the gym, we're giving our muscles the cue to build the muscle, but we don't actually build it until we're resting. And our body uses the protein that we've been getting to build our muscles. So for me personally, I only need one full rest day, but I'm also not afraid to take a workout lighter if I know that I need it, and maybe even switch out some lifting for some mobility work. And that's really it. That's all there is to building a program. It does get easier with experience and knowing what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But if you use this guide plus my last video to see what works and how to improve in those aspects, then you have everything you need right there. So make sure to like this video and subscribe for more hybrid training stuff. The algorithm really picks it up when you guys do this, and it starts to spread it to more people. And my goal for this channel is to really grow it. I want more and more people that are interested in hybrid training or have questions about hybrid training from a beginner's perspective to see this and have their questions answered, all while bringing you on my journey to become the best hybrid athlete I can. And while you're at it, comment any questions down below and I'll make sure I get back to you and might even make a whole video about it. Let's go build something great.